One of the most common patterns I see in women is putting everybody else first, coming from a place of wanting to please, seeing everybody else's needs and priorities as more important than our own, which can leave us feeling depleted, exhausted, and come on, let's face it, just a tiny bit resentful. You know, when you get to that point where you're so exhausted and then one more person asks and it's too much and you snap. That's probably because you've been in an archetype that we like to call the martyr for a little bit too long. Pleasing, saying yes to everybody, and not actually being aware of what you need. One of the key things we need to learn is the ability to say no. No without guilt, and no without any excuses. Think for a moment about a time where someone has said, without any defensiveness, without any issues, without any weirdness, they've just said, oh no, sorry, I can't do that. It's not a big deal. Do you know, when someone comes to you without energy around it, when they come and just very clearly state their boundary around something, it doesn't have to be a big deal. And for many of us, what we need is just a really great tool to be able to set a boundary with somebody. Now, one of many, we have 3 different boundary setting conversations that we teach, but I want to share a really simple one with you right now, which is just the polite no. So the next time somebody asks you to bake for the school bake sale, or the next time your mum asks you to drop everything and come around at the last minute, or the next time a friend asks you out to do something and you know you really should because you haven't seen her for a long time but you're feeling exhausted, try this little 3-part polite decline and see if it helps. So the first part is to acknowledge the request. Thank you so much for asking me to X, Y, Z. In doing so, what you do is build rapport with the person who asked, and you leave the gate open for next time. If they ask you to bake for the bake sale, you say, thank you so much for thinking of me. That's all you need to say, right? That's the first part. Second step is to state your boundary, politely decline. Say, I'm not going to be able to help this year. You don't need to give 18,000 different excuses why. You don't have to go into all of that stuff. You're just going to say, I'm not going to be able to help this year. Or if it's going out with your friend, I'm not going to be able to make it this time. Right? No excuses necessary, no defensiveness necessary. And then the third step is to help work it out. You know, is there someone else that you can introduce to them? Is there some way else that that person can get their needs met? It's a lovely way by working it out at the end to show that you're still interested in them getting whatever their outcome is without you necessarily having to be the person who provides that. So what it would sound like in the bake sale case would be, oh, thank you so much for thinking of me. Unfortunately, I'm not going to be able to help out this year. Let me put my thinking cap on and see who else I think we could reach out to and help work it out. Having a way of saying no sometimes is the key to being able to do it. So in the comments below, I'd like to hear from you. Where have you recently said yes when you should have said no? And what might have been available if you had said, I can't this time? I'd love to hear how you find saying no. Is it easy? Is it hard? Should you do more of it? Or are you great at it? Let's have a conversation about the big no. If you've liked this video, I'm Jo from One of Many. I'd love to get to know you better. Please do click like on the video here. And if this has made a difference for you, I'd love you to share it with a girlfriend, a sister, a mum, someone else you know who could make a big difference from saying a bit more no. Thanks heaps.